You ever grow up thinking your childhood was normal until somebody's like, wait, you spent every summer on Fire Island? And you're like, yeah, doesn't everybody? And then suddenly it hits you, no. Not everybody was raised by two gay men in Manhattan and shipped off every weekend to a sandbar full of shirtless men screaming about ice deliveries and emotional boundaries. But I was. This is that story. I'm Ethan. I was raised in New York City by two gay dads. Not like they went to Pride once and had gotten a golden doodle gay, I mean real gay. Like joint taxes, shared custody of an ex-friend group, and full home ownership rights of a house on the Fire Island Pines gay. This podcast is just me talking straight to the camera every week. No fluff, no fake sincerity, just the stories that made me who I am. And trust me, they're not boring. We're talking queer chaos, accidental child exposure to circuit party logistics, and why my emotional development was basically outsourced to a bunch of gay men with trauma and boat shoes. I'll never forget the first time I realized our life wasn't, let's say, standard. We arrived at our house in the Pines like any given weekend, and I say house, but it was really just vibes and a mortgage. We walk in and there's a grown man I've never seen before in a towel singing "And I'm Telling You" into a fan like his life depended on it. I'm standing there with my little backpack and fruit roll up like, right, this is home. There were no cars, a minimal amount of straight people, and no grocery stores that made any fucking sense. Just gays, dogs, bikes, gossip, and one general store that sold almond milk, paper towels, and poppers. Not necessarily in that order. And every Friday, we'd do it all again. Pack up, take the ferry, re-enter the simulation. No one was watching TV, they were watching each other. And I was just this kid, wandering around like a lost intern on the set of The Birdcage. Now let's talk about growing up with gay parents. This is the thing that you don't understand. Is like you don't ask for things, you present them. I wanted a hamster for my birthday one year, so I opened PowerPoint and I got to work. Talking points, feeding schedule, cage aesthetics. There was a theme board titled Hamstergram Aesthetic. I pitched that hamster like it was a launch on QVC, and it worked. I got the hamster, his name was Fuzzy Wuzzy. Then one day he disappeared, fully vanished into the wall like a queer Houdini. We grieved, but we got a new one. Then a month later, Fuzzy Wuzzy comes back, just climbs out of the drywall like, miss me? And now we had two, and nobody flinched. My dads were like, well, he's resilient, that's very in this year. Briefly, let's touch on Fire Island then versus now. Fire Island now, it's curated, branded, structured. Everybody's got their little theme weekends and silent agreement about what pool is in this year. But back then, it was raw, messy, intimate. You'd see a man in a wig grilling chicken while screaming about real world, Key West, and nobody blinked. There were no ring lights, no NDAs, just tribal drama, house feuds, and one shared understanding. Do not be the bitch that falls in the pool unless you're okay being talked about for the rest of the summer. It was dysfunctional, but it was real. There were people who raised me who probably had no business raising themselves, but they showed up loudly and shirtless. One day I'll do a whole series on it. The gays who raised me weren't well. But for now, let's just say I learned about chosen family before I even knew what that meant. So that's episode 1. This is what I'm doing here, telling the stories I was raised in, the moments that shaped me, and the chaos that somehow turned into clarity. Two gay dads, a beach full of emotionally unavailable men, PowerPoint pitches for pets, and a childhood that made way too much sense to me at the time. But I'm gay now, so it checks out. Next week, we're talking about the Christmas card saga. And no, not like cute matching pajamas. I'm talking full-blown concepts, stage shoots planned in October, delivered with inserts. Our family Christmas card wasn't a card, it was a production. And somehow, I was always the problem talent. Subscribe, send this to the friend who also grew up around gay men with clipboards. And remember, if you were raised right, but not straight, you're in the right place.